Good morning, folks. We're finally moving out of Nebraska. We're going to be heading to Georgia tomorrow, starting to pack today, but we're finally getting out of here. So it's going to be a nice journey for us, about 19 hours of driving, but we're really looking forward to it. So today we're just getting everything ready. We've got most of our things packed up, but I'm going to be throwing a large case on the roof rack, a couple cases, and I think a cooler in the box, and the rest of our stuff is going to be going in a U-Haul. It's going to be the biggest trailer that they've got. It's going to be a 6x12, so the Honda Ridgeline is going to have its work cut out for it because it's going to be pretty heavily loaded up. So we've got a ton of stuff and Sarah's got a ton of clothes, but I'm going to get things loaded up and we're going to get this party started, get the moving going. So I've got the two big cases up top, and the first one is decently light. It's just hunting clothes, a ton of clothes, but it's not crazy heavy. And then this one is just my hunting backpacks. I've got quite a few of them in there. And then the one that I've got in the box of the truck, that one's really heavy. It's just all my camping gear. So I didn't want to throw that one on the rack. I figured I'd throw the lighter ones. But we've got these all strapped down. They should be good to go. Probably didn't need this strap here, but I had it, so I figured just in case they want to go side to side, it might help a little bit. But now I'm going to throw a few things in the box of the truck and we'll get the hitch on and head over to the U-Haul place and get our trailer. Now it's moving day. We've got pretty much everything packed up. I just need to strap this stuff down yet and kind of get that stuff organized. But the U-Haul is very full. I wasn't recording because I didn't think we were going to add that much more, but I'm going to open it up and show you guys what we're working with now. And it started off so organized, I was proud of it, but now it's like embarrassingly unorganized and just looks horrible. So I'm guessing people are gonna roast me in the comments, but here it is. That just seems to happen when you're packing it. It starts off organized and then it just turns into a big old mess. That's the winch, by the way, had in the previous video. But got everything packed up, and now I think I'm just gonna finish strapping that stuff down in the box and we're gonna hit the road. We're just hopping on the interstate now, just on a curve or a loop, whatever you call it. So I'm gonna see how it goes going about 65, 70 if traffic isn't too bad, but it looks like it's pretty congested up top. You can see the engine's definitely working pretty hard. We're at 4,500 RPMs. I might end up having to just do some shifting myself. It shifted at about 5. So we're not going to be getting good gas mileage. And I don't expect to be getting good gas mileage at all. We've got a very heavy U-Haul, the biggest one they offer in trailers. And then we've got 2 huge Pelican cases on the roof rack. So not aerodynamic whatsoever. And then we're pulling a lot of weight. So I'll be happy with, anything over 10, I think, which is kind of sad. I think the last time I took a U-Haul, I want to say we got like 14 or 16, something like that. But that was a smaller size trailer, and then we didn't have the roof rack with stuff loaded on it. I've only driven a couple of miles, but I'm just gonna make sure all my straps are still tight and everything's still loaded in there. So let's take a quick look. It's good. It's good. Down up a little bit. Goes good. I think that'll work. And just making sure the lights are still working. Just trying out the hazards here. Yep. Looking good. Road's busy today. We're gonna hop back in the truck and get to cruising. Right, boys? You guys excited? Heading over to Georgia, do some fishing. Fishing and working. All right, let's do it, boys. And this truck doesn't have regular trailer brakes, which I wouldn't be able to have them, I don't think, with the U-Haul anyway. But I feel like this trailer, maybe I'm wrong, but this trailer seems heavy enough to need some, because I have to slow down quite a bit earlier to end up stopping. So if you're in stop and go traffic, or if there's like an immediate stop that you had to make, it would be a little bit difficult. So I'm gonna keep that in mind as I'm driving. But I've got it in drive right now instead of sport mode. I forgot to switch that, but it's handling it pretty well right now. At 4,000 RPMs, it's just about to shift, going 58. What's up, Nickers? Yeah, that was fine. I'll try and drive for a little bit since I'm not going up hills and I'm not accelerating the whole time, because we're just going straight for 123 miles. And I've got a question. So whenever I look in my mirror here, my side mirror, I see the speed limit sign on the U-Haul, and it says 55. They all do. Is that like a suggestion from U-Haul, or is that like a law? I don't think it would be a law. I think it would just be a U-Haul thing. But if anybody knows, let me know if you wouldn't mind. I'll probably look that up shortly, because that'd be good to know. It's also a little bit windy, so having the roof rack with those big cases and then the enclosed trailer, it's definitely moving me around a little bit. We've only been on the road for about 5 minutes now, and I already got the whole fishtail experience, which I think it's just because I hit a pothole. This is Omaha, potholes are everywhere, but yeah, I think that was the issue. I know on a previous trip when we moved from Florida to Omaha, we had the trailer loaded wrong. We tried to put all the heavy stuff in the front. You're supposed to do 60% of the weight in the front and then 40% in the back, but we ended up having a bunch of heavy stuff at the end that we weren't really planning for. I think we got the weight pretty good this time around, but all those heavy totes in the front and then random stuff from the house in the back, which it really added up fast. That trailer is full. At the end, I was basically just throwing stuff on top, trying not to smash all of our fishing poles, my spear guns and stuff, but I think it's loaded down pretty well. But I'm guessing when I open up the doors, it's all gonna come piling down on me. And our plans did change a little bit. We were supposed to move directly into a house tomorrow, just anytime tomorrow, but apparently the homeowners
they still have a bunch of their stuff in the house, so we're not able to move in until the 7th, which is 7 days from now. And I'm still making the trip down there now just because our lease here in Omaha is ending tomorrow, so we wouldn't have a place to live here. And we're also supposed to pick up a boat tomorrow, so I need to drop the U-Haul off at the Airbnb. I'll take the dogs with. We'll go pick up the boat about 2.5 hours away in Perry, Georgia, I want to say it is. So we'll get that and then just fish for the next week, and then in a week move in our stuff. And one thing that I thought was pretty nifty about the whole U-Haul experience was just to rent this trailer was super expensive. I thought last time I rented a trailer this size from U-Haul, it was like $550, which kind of sucked. But this time it was $1,000. It was like $1,050. So I don't know what the deal was with that, because we're actually going a shorter distance. So I wasn't real excited about that, but I called them today and just explained the situation, and they said I can extend any amount of time that I want, and it's just $20 a day. So I thought that was really, really cool, actually. I figured it'd be another $1,000, you know, just double the time frame, because we were getting it for $5, and now it's gonna be at least $10. So that ended up being a little bit cheaper than I thought. But I also haven't paid for it and returned it, so maybe they'll end up getting me at the end, but I sure hope not. And right now it's about 5:30 p.m. So we're gonna be driving throughout the night, saying that we're gonna get there about 12:51 tomorrow afternoon, but we'll probably end up taking a couple of naps, and it'll cost us a few more hours. And we're not able to check into the Airbnb until 3, so I'm happy with taking a few naps and just kind of ease on over there. But it will be nice driving at night, I think. Not a huge fan of driving at night, but we got good lights on this truck, and the traffic will be a lot less. Not a lot of rush hour traffic, and hopefully I don't hit a bunch of big cities in rush hour tomorrow morning. So that would not be great, and that would slow us down. But we will find out once we get there. I did reset the A and B trip. I'm going to reset the A every time I fill up for gas. We'll see what the actual miles per gallon we're getting is, and then the B I'll keep for the entire trip, see how many miles we go and what the overall mileage is there, or miles per gallon. Right now it's saying we're getting 11.9 miles per gallon, so we're going to be filling up with gas quite often. And I've still got it just in drive mode. So far we've gone 117.1 miles, and it's saying that we've gotten 11 miles per gallon. And from the test that I've done previously, when I actually figure it out on paper, it's normally about a mile per gallon off. So I would say we're probably actually getting exactly 10 miles per gallon. And that's been pretty accurate, because I've tested it probably about 10 times. So we're saying about 10 miles per gallon right now. That doesn't surprise me at all, since we're not aerodynamic, and then we've got the trailer. So hopefully it gets better. Hopefully the wind dies down a little bit too, and helps me out there, makes it a little bit easier to drive. And I did have a few questions on a couple of my last videos, just asking if they were made prior to putting on the roof rack, or if I for some reason took them off. The answer to that is that I did take off the roof rack for a couple of weeks. I just had some hail damage fixed, so they requested I take off the roof rack for that. But I've got that back on. When they were fixing the hail damage, I guess they had to take off my windshield as well. And when they pulled it off, the windshield broke, so they had to put on a new one, which actually ended up being helpful, because now that it's recalibrated, when I use the lane keep assist, the adaptive cruise control, and then the collision avoidance, if that's what it's called, they're working much better than they were previously. Because that was one of my complaints about the truck, because my truck would just slam on the brakes, sensing vehicles, even when they're going with me the same direction on the interstate, it would slam on the brakes, and especially when I was on the highway and vehicles were coming towards me. But that's been much better since then, so I'm happy that got fixed. This is the first time that I pulled a trailer now that I've got the leveling kit in, and I would say it's definitely squatting in the back, which it would be anyway, but I'm sure it looks like it's squatting more than regular Ridgeline without the leveling kit, just because the front end is higher now. And I actually scraped the bottom of my truck, or bottom of the trailer, I don't know which one it was, but just leaving my driveway. So we don't have a lot of clearance there. I don't think that's a concern with the leveling kit, because I actually scraped the bottom of my vehicle or the trailer when we moved into that house, so nothing changed. I've got the cruise control set for 70 miles per hour, and the truck's been sticking around 2,700 RPMs, except for I'm in Missouri right now, and there's a bunch of rolling hills, and I'm just constantly going up and down them. So that's definitely costing me on the gas mileage, but hopefully it ends up flattening out, or I'm going mostly downhill at some point here. But the truck's been handling it really well so far. Not the greatest miles per gallon, but that's expected. Just stopped again to fill up with gas. We went 179.5 miles and did a little bit better on the miles per gallon. We got 12, so 1 mile per gallon better. And we got the boys out, took some peas, and now we're ready to get rocking again. Definitely at a little bit more of a sketchy area. We've got the gas station completely barred up, all the windows, and then the doors barred up as well. So we are going to get out of here. Just filling up again and letting the boys out. We haven't moved in quite a while, so I haven't driven a trailer in probably about 1.5 years, and I don't really miss it. It's not all that enjoyable driving for hours and hours with a trailer behind you. And it's not the truck's fault whatsoever. I'm just not used to driving so slow. Normally I'm kind of the one like flying by people, but now I've been driving like 5 miles an hour under the speed limit. So that's new, just getting passed by everybody. And you gotta make sure the trailer's staying in between the lines the whole time, because that thing likes to go across the lines once in a while, and that's a little bit dangerous. And one thing that I noticed since I've been driving, everybody, like, even though I've been staying in the lines like pretty good, I think, everybody always goes to the left and kind of goes off in the shoulder. I feel like when they see a U-Haul, they're thinking, oh, this is the guy's first time driving with the trailer. I better move to the left so he doesn't run into me, you know? Because I actually do the same thing. I don't know if you guys do. I've just seen it too many times with people with trailers, especially the U-Hauls, and they are going over the lines all the time. So people are treating me the same way, which I don't blame them. These boys are gonna go to the bathroom, and then we'll hit the road again. We'll see what we got for miles per gallon on this run. It was better. I want to say it was 12.6. And on this last tank, we went 188.6 miles and got 12.6 miles per gallon. So each time it's going up a little bit. And I haven't been using the cruise control near as much, just because we are still going up and down some hills. And it's kind of annoying with the cruise control, because it ends up, you know, kind of flooring it, getting up to like 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs to maintain that speed. But instead, I've not been using the cruise control and just kind of keeping it around 3,000 to 3,500 when I'm going up those hills, just going a little bit slower. But it is going pretty well. What do you think, makers? The boys are ready to be there, doing a lot of sleeping, right, buddy? Yeah, you're tired. All right, let's get going. We only have 760 more miles. That should take 11 hours and 20 minutes. So not quite halfway there, but we're trucking along. I just about made it all the way through Nashville, but now I am just sitting in traffic. I could just as well put it in park. I haven't moved in like 15 minutes. So that stinks. Definitely adding some time to the trip here. But a few things that I was going to mention is that I was in drive for the start of the trip.
rather than sport mode, but ever since probably the first 100 miles, I have been in sport, and the truck's been doing great. I will say that I basically turned off all the safety features except for the adaptive cruise control. I turned off the lane keep assist because with the trailer, when it does try to assist you, it kind of jerks to get you back in the lane. But when you have a trailer, it ends up making it sway quite a bit. So that was dangerous. So I turned that off. And I also turned off the collision avoidance because initially it was working well, but then it started sensing bridges. I was going just under bridges that are going across, so I was under it for 1 second, 2 seconds, and it would sense the bridge and start to apply the brakes and start alarming. So that was not real cool when you're going like 65, 70 miles an hour. So I've got those off. I don't think I've got anything else on that I know of. But yeah. But for now, I'm just sitting in traffic, and hopefully this can clear on up. It's on Apple Maps. It's got the red traffic deal on the maps, and it says 33 minutes. And I've just got to go 2 miles, and I'm to my exit, but it's going to be a long 2 miles. It is now 7:43, just hit the 2-hour mark. We have gone 1 mile. So traffic is not moving much at all. Maps are still saying now it's gonna be an hour and 14 more minutes. Yeah, I feel pretty silly for complaining about Omaha, Nebraska's traffic, because this is horrible. I couldn't imagine trying to go to work and you're stuck in something like this. I'm just trying to get to Savannah and go to Bass Pro Shop to pick up some fishing stuff. So I'm pretty relaxed just hanging out here. And this is in Nashville, and it's funny that you never hear this in any country songs talking about the 3-hour long traffic. I bet you I'll be here for at least 3 hours, probably 4. But I sure hope not. I don't even know what's going on. It's crazy. But I'm gonna keep sitting here. Well, we finally made it out in just under 2.5 hours. So it was a pretty lengthy traffic jam there. But I did figure out what the cause was. It looks like there's a really bad accident, actually, a semi and then a smaller truck. So hopefully they're okay. It always makes you think when you're in a situation like that where you're just waiting, a couple hours, whatever it is. It's not near as bad waiting than it is to be in that situation. So you just gotta be nice and patient, because it's a really bad situation for those people today. So hopefully they're okay. But I actually almost ran out of gas while I was sitting there too. So I'm gonna grab some gas quick and probably let the boys out too. They were whining a little bit, but couldn't really let them out during that situation. So we're gonna grab some gas and get these boys peeing. Ready, buddies? And I didn't record one of my stops, but I went 119.2 miles, and then I was getting 12.9 miles per gallon. And then on this one, I went 167.1. Granted, sat in traffic for 2.5 hours, but I got 11.5 miles per gallon. Right, we are closing in on the destination. We've got exactly 300 miles left. 4.5 hours is what it's saying. This time we went 173.7 miles and got 12.3 miles per gallon. But most importantly, we got some food. They didn't have any dog treats or any dog food in there, so the boys are eating pulled pork. We gotta let it cool down for a second. Hold on. Don't burn your tongue. Hey, let it cool down, man. I didn't plan very well. All their dog food's way deep in the U-Haul. So they're getting these, which they're covered in barbecue sauce. They're gonna make a huge mess. But you guys are hungry, aren't ya? And one for me too. We're gonna hit the road. 300 more miles. we're almost there. Are you excited to be here, buddy? Yeah? Blue, are you excited? You excited? We finally made it. The last little stint, I went a little over 100 miles and I got really bad gas mileage. It was saying 10.6. I was going a lot faster. I was just ready to get there. And I didn't get here until 5:30 p.m. So I left yesterday at 5 p.m., got here today at 5:30 p.m. But there is a 1 hour time difference here in Georgia from Nebraska, so it took me like 23 and a half hours. And I pretty much, well, I did drive it straight actually. I just had a couple hours in traffic that kind of stunk. But other than that, took a lot of time at the gas stations as well because I was getting pretty bad gas mileage. So we filled up probably like 8 times, kind of a guess. But yeah, it was a long trip. And by the way, those drivers in Atlanta, they are crazy. They are just cutting you off constantly and swerving. It was a little wild with the U-Haul. I didn't enjoy that too much, but just super happy to finally be here. I'm gonna sleep really well. These boys could not be more excited too. They do love the back of the Ridgeline though. It's nice and comfortable for them. They've got their dog beds there and they can just sleep, play with their toys. But yeah. Anyway, we are going to get settled in here. This is just our Airbnb and we'll move into the real house in about a week. But I did get the U-Haul unhooked from the truck. It's kind of a pain, but I just used some jacks, jacked up the tongue, and then ended up laying it down in the driveway here because I am gonna go to Perry, Georgia tomorrow, which is about 2.5 hours away. So another road trip with the boys. I'm sure they're gonna be excited, but we're gonna go pick up a boat and we'll see how the Ridgeline does with that. So stay tuned for that video. Thank you guys for watching.